to Everyone Racers,
a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture.
It doesn't matter what kind of Lemmy Champ or Lucky Track Dog league you run.
SCCA or NASA, we don't discriminate.
as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself.
Join us each week for tech discussion,
Tips, tricks,
as well as news and notes from the world of amateur endurance racing.
whether it's on the spot,
hella sweet,
Or we're lucky enough in Chrissy.
Chrissy,
I give you just the tip.
We're sure you'll giggle a little.
And learn even less.
Everyone report to the paddock.
Me until I'm finished.
Oh my gosh, this is going awry.
Going really well.
Yeah, well,
exactly.
wow.
That's going to be the teaser clip for the episode. So,
okay. Are we
Great.
starting the show?
we can start
Someday
whatever you guys
we should do that.
It
Okay.
starts the show or it gets the hose again.
Oh gosh.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Tim.
And I'm mental.
Everyone racers, and welcome to a seriously never drive down 394. It doesn't matter where or which one, because when Mental Googled 394 car, which is what we do to get these things, all of the news headlines, along with 4 of the 9 websites, were about various people getting killed in crashes or murdered along 394, like all over the country. So if you have to take 394, go the long way. Don't take it. Question your GPS and go a different way.
Particularly Minneapolis, by the looks of it.
Oh, yeah?
So, well,
Yeah.
based on the screenshot there. So stay off 394, Minnesotans.
Except you could have gotten
Don't
a
you know?
Batmobile Batman car model number 394. You could have gotten that too. But
I looked. I mean,
You could go in a
yeah.
double shooting.
no,
And we pulled some stretches before, but even that one felt stretchy.
oh, this is fun. No, this is good. I like this one. 394. Note to self. Got it.
And actually, here, just so like I want to do this, so our listeners or our viewers really are like, what the hell are these people talking about? So this is because I figured Chrissy would be like,
Oh, they
what
can
the
Google
hell?
themselves.
Only if their internet's better than Mental's.
Everybody's internet's
That's
better
pretty
than mine.
default.
Right now,
yeah. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to hopefully not gigablasting being on a brand new computer with a brand new modem being on gigabit Ethernet.
Oh, I'm
Hopefully
sorry.
we'll stop it.
Why are you on a brand new computer? Tell us, Chris.
Because
Let's go.
What you working on, Chris?
What you working on, Chris?
Okay. I'll
Good
start with the
lead-in.
computer. The 2016-ish MacBook Pro that I've had since that long finally
grade.
decided one day that this week that I'd opened we're using it fine, put it down, picked it back up, opened the screen, nothing came on, which is an unfortunate feeling when that happens, especially when you've been staring at the backup reminder. It says 280 days since your last backup. And I'm like,
so
"Yeah,
much.
I should do that."
Meh.
Then I had dinner or something, and so
So if you're watching on YouTube, that's why you can basically see his nose hairs, because that's how crystal clear this picture is. Yes. So we only had minor freakouts that we have lost everything.
fairly moderate freakouts. So I knew that I had that 280-day-old backup, so I'd have something. But it took a while, like all the different ways I can restart holding various different keys. None of it really worked.
Your little flashlight
Trying
on the screen.
Yep, that
and
didn't work.
whispering to it.
All kinds of things. And eventually, though, I did a certain kind of restart and then closed the lid and opened it only like a couple inches, and I could see it. And so I've been sitting on the floor with the computer on the desk.
The cat is sitting on the chair.
Right.
Chris is sitting on
Working
the
on the
floor.
thing.
And I walk in and say, "What are you doing?" And
But I
he's
got
like,
it
"This is
to
the only
work.
way I can see the screen, and it's up this big."
I'm sneaking up on it. Don't tell him I'm coming.
Pretty
I
much.
ordered a new computer yesterday at lunch, Monday at lunch at work. And it was here by 1:00 this afternoon. Thank you, Apple. And so now, and I got one with and it is
Probably shoot some with computers.
to the old computer as a a separate drive, like basically just use it as an external hard drive, target drive mode, and was able to, I was so excited that I did. I just grabbed the user data for Chrissy and me to have all our like photos and music and documents and all that stuff, and pulled that over independently. And now, because I can kind of sort of see the screen, I'm using the Time Machine external hard drive to back up separately, so we've got extra backups of extra things, and I could use the Time Machine to restore the new computer to the old computer.
Listeners,
but it's not all lost. So don't be like us. This is more of our usual story. Don't be like us. Don't learn from our mistakes.
Please.
When it says 280 days,
more like
Jesus,
backup, because
try it. Yeah, do that.
Be more
do
like
that
Jesus.
Backup thing.
Jesus saves.
Jesus does save. Be like Jesus.
I've told this story before, but turn of the century, not even actually, early 90s, I'm going through computer training in Keesler Air Force Base, Mississippi, and we would have to write just hundreds of lines of code, and a thunderstorm would roll through and you'd lose power to the building, but you had no idea because there were no windows. And if anything was on a floppy disk, which was how you had to save it, the last time you hit Control S, and I remember I'm hyper focused, I'm in there, I'm doing the code, whole building goes down. And in the darkness, you just hear this collective groan of 40 people going, ah, in one voice in the darkness. Ha ha, I saved. Lights came back on. No one would admit to who it was. And to this day, I am compulsive, like even writing with autosave turned on a Microsoft Word document at work. If I stop for a breath, I either click the save icon or Control S.
Well, that's easy. That's easy. But like a backup, you're like, I'll do that this weekend.
I gotta get the hard drive out.
And then I'm like, I'll do that next weekend. Oh yeah, you know what? We're watching F1. I'm just gonna do it then. Yeah, we're not gonna do that. So just don't be like us, please, because you don't want to do that. Okay, Chris, you're working on cars. Go ahead.
We snatched victory from the jaws of defeat with computers, fortunately. So that's really wonderful. Aside from that, been unpacking from our race and worked on the MG a little bit because it was in the garage and I had the new part for it. So the MG has its new left front shock to replace the one with the leaking seal that I confirmed was the thing causing the leaks, and bled the brakes, and they now feel great. They lost that initial mushiness. So MG is ready to sell. You took a cold start video. I've submitted it to bring a trailer. Let's see what happens there. So that's great. Did a once over on the Mazda after VIR, and things are looking pretty good. The list is it needs new brake pads, but I knew that was going to happen. I had just, as we were sitting down to record the show, got notice from Porterfield that they have been shipped and will be here in 2 days. So perfect timing. Thank you, Porterfield, because they actually got
43
ST43.
Yeah.
You get them because they're there. They're not cheap, but they're worth it. So
buy more than one set.
Right. So those are coming. And are you
zooming in and out on purpose, or did you just push something on your mouse?
I've done nothing. This is the
I think
computer
it's your
doing
Zoom
literally
setting.
Pulled back and then zoomed back in.
No, it's your Zoom setting. Something is it's following you.
It's face tracking me.
Auto follow.
That's what it's doing. It's face tracking me. Anyway, the outer axle boots on the axles, I had taken them apart and cleaned and re-greased them before this last race. And when I sealed them back up, I used the old clamps that were on them. And then they were not the kind you put the PEX crimper tool on. They were just kind of a band. They weren't sealed up enough. So they leaked when we were at the race, and they leaked
more
again
on this later.
So I got to clean that up and re-clamp the axles, but that can be done with them in place. It shouldn't be hard, especially with the caliper off. And that's about it. Just needs to be cleaned and have the axles reclamped and new brake pads. So very minor list for a lengthy and hot race. So that's pretty good.
Yay.
How did your brake ducting work? That was a legitimate concern last week.
The ducting seemed to be fine. We never had any fade issues as a result of heat. So, but we'll talk all about it.
None of your sensors melted or anything. That was the issue.
Nothing melted.
Or towing.
Yeah, or towing. None of it seemed to cause any problems. So that's good. So yeah, more to come later on. We'll talk all about it. So Mental, you have not been working on a race car this weekend. So what have you been doing?
Crying.
Yeah. on Friday, a guy I work with, he's a memorabilia. In fact, see, it zoomed out on you again.
Because now I'm adjusting the settings. It's true.
He handles all the history for Red Flag, and he's got 10,000 military patches and that sort of stuff. A friend of his is in a bit of a bad situation and was being moved into a VA assisted living facility. And he had a lot of stuff in storage that he didn't want to see in a dumpster or end up on Storage Wars. So we rented, Chris thinks that's okay. We rented a vehicle and drove down there and just ended up with a ton of, magazines and books and all kinds of interesting stuff of that nature, and then got stuck in famous LA traffic on the way out, and 4 hours became 7 hours to get back. But that was most of mine. But on Saturday, Vicky and I did go see a movie that just came out.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I'd gotten word from Gigablasting. Yeah. I'd gotten I'd gotten word from some of our associate gearheads that go see it. It's worth it. And yes, I'm going to say that. Go see it. Turn off your racer brain. Understand that, look, we know that would never happen, but they had to do that for character development. Just go along with it. I thought the sequences were very well filmed, and damn it, if Brad Pitt isn't just entertaining, and so is Javier Bardem, and so I enjoyed it. Vicky is not a racer, doesn't care about cars. She enjoyed it. It is fun seeing all of the cameos from Toto and Fernando and all the other folks in there, and they seem to be having fun with the movie. And of course, Sir Lewis manages to make a few appearances because, well, he paid a lot of money to do that, so why wouldn't he? So,
okay, we're planning on going.
I'm going to give it a recommendation. Go see it. If you hate it, tell us why.
It's on my list.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go
us too.
100%.
We'll go
and go see it on the big screen. I'll watch it when it comes out on Apple, but yeah, get some popcorn, watch it. It's great.
So that's the plan.
Excellent.
Great.
So Chrissy. Yeah.
Travel.
Looks like you lost some water weight.
Sweating. We'll talk about that later. Racing. More sweating. Travel. More sweating. And the more sweating was because I came home, and fortunately we were home for Sunday, and my lawn was very long, but of course it was still, I think it said it was 88, but it didn't feel like it. So did a lot of lawn work and yard work because that has been neglected since we've been gone a bunch of weekends. And this weekend this evening, we've had a whole lot of rain that came in. Chris didn't talk about his 60 gallons that we think we pulled out.
I pulled 60 gallons of water out of the garage that leaked in because it rained so much. Well, it filled the 10-gallon shop vac 6 times, so I'm guessing it's around 60 gallons. It's amazing how water spread out over a large surface when it's only an inch or two deep adds up real fast on my uneven garage floor. I know where the low spots and the high spots are. That's for sure.
And now it's all clean. So there's that.
It is. It's so clean now.
We had a lot of rain that just came through. Yeah. Tim, how about you?
Well, I also was racing at VIR.
Did you guys see each other while you were there? That would have been
weird.
I know. I ran into him.
We sweated together is what happened, actually.
It might be my new favorite racetrack.
Get out.
Very fun. Yep. I really, really liked it. I really, really liked it. And then I came back, flew back in on Sunday, and then the Daniels haunt us to the point where everyone is now here. We have 13 humans on the property, 3 dogs. Wow. And just as a reminder for those of you that don't know, it is a 3-bedroom house with 1 bathroom, and we have an RV, which I am currently in doing this podcast because the house is packed full of people. Parked in the parking area.
I can still hear you.
Yeah. So it's going to be a really busy time. So today, one of the things we wanted to do high on the to-do list was to go get my brother-in-law's pontoon boat from his property in Green, which is about 20 miles away. So we go there and, it's covered for the winter, but it's outside. So there's a bunch of water in the cover. You collapsed the, little stand-up pegs you have to try to keep the water from doing that. So broke those things. So, there's probably 60 gallons of water in the boat, just like Chris's garage. So we have to mow all of the area around the boat, mow and weed whack so we can get to it. We get there and we're like, all right, well, we're going to trim up the motor so we can hook this thing up. And I brought an extra battery with me because I figured the battery in it would be dead, which it was. Sadly, so was the battery that I brought. So we ended up having to put 2 sets of jumper cables together and daisy chain them together to get from the truck past the boat to the battery, which is at the back of the boat, and got the trim up on it. And then got it out of there, brought it to the car wash, gave it a good bath, filled it up with gas, went to the town office to get it registered. So we did all the things, and we're driving to the boat launch, which is right by my house. We drive past the boat launch, go up the street, turn around, come back. We stop about 100 yards from the boat ramp because we're going to put the new battery in it and get the tie downs off and all the stuff. And as I'm pulling off the road onto this little dirt shoulder, I look back in my side mirror to clear for traffic, and I see the trailer wheel wobbling aggressively from side to side. And I get over as quick as possible and stop the car. And as I stop, the wheel goes boom, and falls, and the trailer goes completely onto the ground. And my brother-in-law, I'm driving my truck, and my brother-in-law is sitting in the passenger seat. And I said, Jim, your trailer tire just fell off. And he goes, what? I said it like deadpan, like that too. And he jumps out of the truck and he runs out, and the tire is at like almost flat on the ground, wedged up in the wheel well of the trailer. So what it looks like happened is water got in there, in the bearings. The bottom of the spindle has got some corrosion on it, so the bearings were probably also rusty. The 20 miles that we drove it was just hot enough for the bearings to eat themselves, and then it fell off 100 yards from the boat launch. So we've got the bearing races off of the spindle. We figured out what the spindle is and what hub we need. Obviously, we couldn't read the stamped bearing codes off of those bearings because they turned into dust. So some measurements later, and we figured it out. There's a place in Portland, about 40 minutes away, that's got one in stock. So we'll pick that up in the morning, slap it on, get the boat in the water, and then I've convinced him to bring the trailer to somebody to have the entire thing served.
No way.
Clearly, he did not listen to
Okay.
our prep your trailer in the
good
spring
learning
episode.
experience for him.
Wow.
Yeah. How many times do I preach seriously, trailer maintenance, it's worth it.
Come on.
Yeah. So he was like, wow, that's really bad. That could have been really bad. I'm like, yeah. So the RV of his that I'm sitting in, I said, have you ever had that serviced? And he's like, no. I said, you should do that like yesterday.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's I'll fix it when it breaks kind of guy. That's probably why he owns a Jeep.
That's probably going to go really well with an old Porsche.
No, again, not a good idea.
That's why when you gave him all those extra parts, he was like, is my mechanic going to need these? I don't know.
Oh, no.
He's like, he doesn't turn a wrench. Yeah, that thing's going
Someone
right
might
to the
need
service guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, well.
Okay. Well, it's news and no
Do you know
time.
what time it is now,
It's
Chrissy?
news and no time. I know what time it is.
It is. And we have another car-carrying ship caught on fire and sank story. Yep, 16,000 feet and about 400 miles off the Aleutian chain in Alaska. The Mark Thessin what the Associated Press tells us, all 22 crew members on board were able to safely evacuate and be rescued without injury. But the 600-foot mooring Midas left China en route to Mexico, and among its cargo were 70 fully electric and about 680 hybrid vehicles. These are suspected as the source of the fire. The crew was blaze, and on Monday, the ship sank. The Coast Guard now has several pollution monitoring tugs to check for all additional damage that may be done. And green energy, electric cars, yay.
Green energy back to the depths of the green ocean. Green ocean.
Yes.
Yeah. Sounds a whole lot of people are really sad about that. Okay, if you're a car person, you've probably heard of the photographer Larry Chen. Well, he's put together 20 years of his photos in a new book, Life at Shutter Speed. This is a 400-plus page compilation with over 2,000 pictures broken into 20 chapters, one for each of the year of Chen's career. It has been published by Carrere Books, which is the publishing house that focuses on automotive content. The book is available for $124.99. Wow. And is being released on September 29th, but is available for pre-order on Amazon and all of your other favorite bookstores. Find out more about this and check out the article from Caleb Jacobs at The Drive. There is a link in the show notes.
It is a gorgeous coffee table book.
It is
high quality, high res photos. Check it out.
And we'll link this in the show notes as well. But if we all point up right now, we'll, that's where I'll put the episode when we had Larry Chen on.
Great.
When was that, Mental?
We never did. I just want that to show up in the algorithm when people Google Larry Chen. Oh, everyone racers. Okay.
Wow.
I did meet
Larry Chen,
meet him.
The lost episode.
The lost episode.
The lost
you know what?
episode.
It was a great episode. He told anyone how to be a professional photographer, and then it didn't get recorded. They get lost in the cloud. Eric Rude was there. Eric Rude and Brian were both there. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, that's funny.
Okay, sorry. All right. Alexander Stolosa of Motor Trend reports that the recalls are just coming. Now, it is Ford's world famous F-Series Super Duty. Latest recall, possible brake failure. Owners are told in capital letters, do not drive your vehicle. The recall focuses on just over 2,300 vehicles on the 2025 model year. That fixes the retaining spring on the brake booster push rod, which can fail, and the truck would lose all brake function. I did not write this, but this next word is quite apropos. Yikes. So with GM screwing up the small block and Ford not understanding how to do brakes and Dodge being like Dodge, can you even get, I guess the only good, I was saying the only good American made truck right now is the Toyota.
You're not wrong. I mean, it's a good thing it happened to their Super Duty because they rarely ever like tow anything heavy or anything like that.
Exactly. There's
of course not. And then you don't ever need to brake. It's fine.
No.
And they're never loaded. Yeah, they're not loaded full of workers and hauling loads of materials.
Trailers and
dangerous
game show
hazardous
prize
materials.
Game show prize wheels.
Yeah, hey, you know what? I focused on what mattered. My truck may not go, but it would stop. So
it didn't have to stop.
394 people were run over by a game show wheel. Just
fell out of the back of the
Raceway.
It rolled the entire way down the front range.
Exactly. Yes,
wow.
There we go.
Hey, you know what doesn't need any brake upgrades is this car that's on Racing Junk. This is a 1988 Honda CRX SI, ready to go on track after a normal pre-race check. Can race with SCCA and ITA. That's improved Touring A. Vintage HSR, probably Champ Car, NASA, and others. Now I want to expand. This is me. adding here. This is the best car to do this with if you want a CRX. 88 was notably lighter than every other year by like 100 pounds, and had a different lower control arm design in the rear that was actually exactly the same as they ended up using in the later Integra Type R, because it had a little passive rear toe change and made it a little more lively in its handling. So there's a couple good reasons to have an 88, and it's a silver one, which I think is one of the better colors for them too. So that's my editorial. But it says strong ITA prepped D16 A6 engine. That's the stock one. About 15 weekends. Weisco pistons, ARP studs, custom header, and this header is a big bundle of snakes. It's a pretty impressive piece.
That is a gorgeous looking header.
Yep.
Yeah.
Limited slip in the transmission, full cage, Kirky seat, race equip harnesses expire in 27. Custom weight plates for ballast because it needs ballast because it's so light being an 88 that, necessary.
They use for you to ballast it.
Yep. Exactly. Spherical bearing suspension, Coney coilovers. And this for $8,500, you couldn't build this for that. So
no, that is a great deal.
It is. And it is a rust-free, clean chassis. It's down in South Carolina. Like the rear wheel wells have no rust. It is straight. You just can't find these clean anymore. So
no, not and especially there's not even any door dings on that one. That's a really good looking truck, man.
It's not a truck, but
I'm sorry. It's a good looking car. Got truck brain. Yeah.
Trunk.
It's like a little short truck.
I have brought an engine home from a junkyard in my CRX before. Like it was a CRX engine, but when I backed the CRX up for them to load it in, they're like, "What?" It's like, no, there's plenty of room. So we loaded it on in, no problems.
Hatchback.
They were probably happier. They were happier to see that hatchback than they were to see the Volvo wagon.
Hatchback for the win.
All of them work. Everyone's like, "Why you need a pickup?" No, you don't.
Don't need a pickup.
The guy got super mad at me when I showed up with the Escalade to pick up the two motors for the Mazda. He's like, "Pickup?" I'm like, no. Why would I need a pickup? It's a Suburban. I've brought lots of engines. I've never ever had a pickup and brought engines home, and I've brought it home in Escalades and Suburbans and
Mazdas,
Land Cruisers and Mazdas and CRXs and Cherokees, and never a pickup truck.
Mm-hmm. Boom.
Yep.
There it is.
Okay, it's upcoming races time.
Well, they're not going to be any upcoming races. It seems that most of us are going to be too busy celebrating the freedom of our nation by trying to blow up a small part of it using questionable minor explosives packed literally in old Chinese newspapers that were sold to you from exploited child labor disguised as Boy Scout fundraising campaign from some temporary shed made of the most combustible press board remotely available. Now, naturally, we'll be augmenting these celebrations by altering our brains with the lowest price cans of American light beer owned by one of the three non-U.S. beer brewing conglomerates, further dehydrating ourselves and vastly increasing the chances that we will spend the remainder of that holiday in an emergency room to be billed more than you put aside for your child's future, which is actually fine. It's not like they can afford an education, much less a house anyway.
That was so
America.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Then you can set up a GoFundMe for your medical bills. It's the American way.
Exactly. There you go.
You made that holiday sound not fun, and it's like my favorite.
And you're the one that's been shot in the face with the fireworks. So
I was not going to bring that up. We don't tell that story to people.
Well,
okay.
Apparently we do. And I think we have just found our just the tip. Because if you blow your fingers off on Saturday on Friday,
you have to wait till the end of the show. We'll tell you the story. Maybe. Okay.
Oh, great.
Anyway, we're talking about recent results. There were a couple of races. We only care about one of them. We were at the 7+8 Virginia Lucky Dog is for Lovers at VIR. 45th Parallel Motorsports won in a Miata. J3T Motorsports was 3 laps back. B Class went to Dirty 30 and they were 4th overall in an E30. And Class C went to fly through the pits, and that's probably why they won, because they were about to run people over because they were hot pits and you could just walk through the hot pits. I don't know how they didn't kill people, but that's apparently how they won.
And 30 loved to dive bomb. They loved it.
Yes,
Man.
they did.
Dive bombing for the win for them.
Yeah, well, that's how they got fourth overall.
Hey,
So
I can make a low percentage move up there. I should go do that. And they did repeatedly until people got out of their way. So annoying.
I was probably one of them because I was just trying to get out of people's way.
Once I threw a hip at him just to say, cut it out.
Yes.
just let them know. By the way, I paid for this car. I don't mind.
Yeah.
Okay, there were a couple other races, but I don't really care. Listener feedback time. Okay, so we had a bunch of them on YouTube's, which is awesome. At Paul John 2521 said, the caterer was going to bring potato salad. Al Jones says having the AAA membership in PA pays for itself with one title transfer. So much more convenient to do that stuff there than deal with the shady notary places or the DMV. I didn't realize.
Except they're only open Monday to Friday, 8 to 5. So yeah.
And we don't really have any places like AAA places around.
I got one right near my work, but how often am I there to do that?
It's not. All right. Michael K said, PA says all parties must be present with car to transfer title. Illinois says go to the check cashing place with the title that has been illegally reassigned 6 times, but registration is paid for up until the current year, a Costco membership card that may or may not be yours, and a fistful of 20s. You're good. That's amazing.
And so I copied those, and now everybody has AI suggested stuff, and YouTube's AI suggestions for the reply.
No.
Sounds about right for Illinois, and PA is boring.
Wow. That's kind of
I too welcome our robot overlords.
do you though?
Yeah. On the Facebooks where they were showed pictures of the transmission that Darren blew up. And he didn't blow up. It blew up while he was driving.
Blew up while he was driving.
Yes. And Ben Dawson said, "Man, I saw this roll-by on my phone while I was at the pool with my kids, and my jar dropped so hard it fell off." Yep.
Yeah. Crazy.
And sorry, I was a little slow on that one there, Tim.
That's quite all right. On the Instagrams, Tyler Stank said, "Is that graphic supposed to be Chrissy, Tim, and Mental?" Yes, it is.
Some artistic interpretation. Yes, that was good. And that one that no one else saw because you guys don't do that stuff.
Overlords.
That was the good one where Chris has the mullet. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's not usually in a mullet form, though. No.
His hair is usually not in a mullet form as well.
Correct.
Never
there were some
fly through
pictures
the
in the
pits.
80s. Yeah.
Correct.
You know who else you can take a title to that's been illegally transferred 6 times with a handful of 20s and get it?
She's going to say, "What do you want me to do with this?"
Yeah, if she could help you, she probably would, but
she's going to say, you look like an honest folk. It'll be fine.
Probably.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Just so here, because this really isn't even for the viewers. This is just for Chris and Chrissy. This was the graphic that we put up on the.
Oh my God.
Doesn't Chris's hair look glorious?
His hair looks better than mine.
It's so luscious.
It's quite the tight jeans you have there.
I know. I like it. Says VIR Lovers 4.
Lovers 4, and then straight below his belt buckle.
In the AI description, I actually said the female is wearing a shirt that says VIR is for lovers. And some of the variations that came out of that are hilarious.
Oh. Okay.
And my luscious blonde mullet.
Good luck with that. You might not be married anymore if that happens. So let's not do that.
Please don't act like you would not fall into the magical spell of a mullet that good.
Well, I guess if it's in the back, it's fine because I can't handle the front too long because he had to, during COVID, he kept going like this.
I had to wear her hair bands.
I had to wear my hair bands because he was right. Well, I guess who am I talking to? The mental has this hair.
Well, but see, that's because you appreciate business up front. And that's why the party's in the back.
Yes. Okay, let's move on. It's big topic time. All right, we're giving a recap about our weekend.
Where'd we go, Chrissy?
It's like our pre-weekend. We raced Friday and Saturday. So this was like so confusing to everybody, but great. We traveled Thursday.
It's important to say this is VIR that we went to.
Oh, I didn't get there
and it's
yet.
with Lucky Dog.
I didn't get there yet.
Fine.
I was just trying to set it up with, we went to a race weekend that was not on the weekend. And so
Right. Exactly.
Confusing. Yeah.
I was there. It felt artful, like an episode of The Moth. You were painting a picture.
I was trying. Thank you. We went to VIR and we got
Chris
there.
His mullet comes in and messes it all up.
We all got there different ways at different times. So that was great. Where do we want to start? Travel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Travel. Go
ahead.
Yeah, we drove down, obviously, because we had the race. And had a pretty uneventful trip out down 81, stopped at Costco for about 75 gallons of gas between the car and all the gas we brought and
ice cream.
The truck. Yeah, and we got ice cream because you're at Costco. But when it's like 60 cents a gallon less than everywhere else, it's like I'm trying to find like a trash can to put it in. Or like what else can
I filled my purse and like we put it in like our pillowcases and just like
everything's full of gas.
Was it during COVID, like that lady that was putting it in shopping bags in her trunk?
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yes, that's us. Yes.
Stopped at a local barbecue place on the way that Chrissy found.
In this tiny town.
Yep, but it got like a whole like pig's worth of barbecue. It was delicious.
One of those like, yes.
Yep. Arrived at VIR and it was so freaking hot.
We were there.
How hot was it?
Like so freaking hot. Yeah, we were there 5:30ish. So then we're in the staging lot with everybody else, with most of these trucks running the air conditioning. So that made it even hotter, which is great. While people congregated in the shade of their enclosed trailers to chat. And we talked with John from the affiliated Buzz Viking team, that's Darren's brother-in-law. Talked to him for a little bit. And went in to set up, and it was we'll get into more Thursday in a bit, because that was, we had a very condensed schedule this weekend because VIR had someone there on Thursday during the day, and they had someone there coming in Saturday night and Sunday as well. So they're packed.
Right.
Timmy, how was your travel down there?
My travel was not too bad. I took my truck to Portland, which is 40 minutes away, jumped on a bus for $34. They dropped me off at Boston Logan, flew into Raleigh Durham, rented a car, stopped at the most ghetto, worst, like dollar store closeout place ever.
It's like it's a step up from a dollar store because you paid $4.99 for your flip flops. So I feel like it was but it's like a step down from like Ross and TJ Maxx. So it's like
it's where Ross dumps all the stuff they can't sell.
Completely. That's exact. I completely think that's what that is. Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah. So I bought a pair of slides that had they were black with a big smiley face on them, and the smiley face has heart eyes. They were very cute. They barely lasted the weekend, and I threw them away. Yep.
And you almost died a couple times because
the
slide would get caught underneath, and then he would
go like taco under, like kind of like how my mom broke her foot.
That is exactly how your mom broke her foot. Literally.
He noted it a couple times. Yes. Oh yeah.
Yep.
Hey Ma. See, that's what you get.
Lots of beverages. Yeah, totally made fun of her, and then I almost died. So then I got some beverages for my friends because they needed some beverages.
Hopefully from a different store, or was it like misspelled, like misspelled Bud Light?
BIER.
White Clue? Who knew?
Gray Claw.
Off-White Claw. I like that. That's good. Slightly tinged.
What flavor is this? Pesto.
That's excellent.
Rutabaga.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Tomato. It's a fruit. Hello.
Yeah.
All right. Yes. Okay. So you pulled in what hour?
Not long after we were
I
there.
got there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was about 6:45, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So it was way before Dean.
Yeah, we were racing with Dean
Yeah.
from Sorry for Party. He was flying. He flew to Charlotte and then was going to fly from Charlotte to Raleigh, which is like not that far. But that flight got canceled, so he finagled a rental car and got it and drove up from Charlotte. He got there that evening. He definitely did not speed. It definitely cost him $23 at least to do that.
So we set up our paddock space, which is a very large, like bigger than normal 3-pedal mafia size U. And we basically all spread out. There were another RV, our truck and trailer, another truck and trailer,
Another truck and trailer.
3 truck and trailers. Right.
Yep.
So yeah, we spread all out. We had a quick warp burger dinner. That was nice. We basically do that. We were going to get in and wanted to make sure that we all ate. So we had dinner and then
Tech was that night too. So while Chrissy is working on setting up the paddock and pits and Tim was helping her,
Yep.
I got the car out of the trailer and got in line for tech. And now Lucky Dog has a pre-tech that you can do where you take pictures of the car just from the corners and of your belt expiration dates, your fire system expiration dates, and your window net expiration dates, essentially, and send that in ahead of time. And they said that speeds things up. So I did all that. So in line, they're moving people through pretty quickly. So I pull into tech line. I have my tech sheet filled out and they said, why do you have that? You did pre-tech. I said, yeah, well, this has other questions on it. I thought you might need it. No, didn't need it at all. So here's the extent of what they looked at in tech. Nothing at all. They had the stuff I'd sent in the pictures and that was it.
Well, they did notice you didn't have your
Or you told them that.
But I had the number panels ready to go. And then they handed me the sticker pack to put on. And that was it. And then they put a sticker on the roll cage down bars, said passed. I said, is there anything else I need to do? They said, no. I said, okay. And I left with the stickers and the windshield banners and the stuff to put on. Foreshadowing. Went back to the pits, started stickering up the car, and we got some tape from someone else so we could tape on our number panels because they make you have these number panels, and I didn't want to spend $100 for number panels for one race. So Tim was supposed to make them in California, forgot, but Tim, of course, came through and got some number panels printed up us on regular paper, but that was great because we can tape them on and they're done. They're already in the trash. So it's fantastic. Worked out great. So I was a little disappointed that was their tech. Like they thought they'd look a little harder, but nope. Oh well.
Yeah, they trust you.
Nope.
Reoccurring theme for the weekend.
Yeah. Do they trust everybody? And is everybody equally trustful? Who knows? Trusting? No. Should you trust everybody? Trustworthy. Thank you.
And we did gear tech that night too, which apparently there was all kinds of questions of is you supposed to just bring your helmet or just bring your helmet and suit because VIR requires one-piece suits, or then eventually it was like, no, bring everything. Okay. So
it was like a bad whisper down the lane game. Yeah. Like we said, somebody would come back and be like, do you need this? Oh wait, no, I heard we need this. Okay. Do we need this? And and where are we going? We go into this because a lot of things were at tech one day and then they were at HQ the next day. So, or, like it was just all over the place. Yep. Go ahead. Keep going. So
we had a few nice beverages that evening and car was ready. We were ready to go for Friday.
I'll give them credit that they were very thorough on gear.
Yes,
they checked Hans certification, all of the bits and parts of what you have to put on. They checked all of that. So like, good on you. Thumbs up on that one. Never checked my ID.
No one looked at the driver's
license.
All right.
Ever. You look trustworthy.
Correct.
Yep. Yeah.
Nope. Never took mine out of my wallet.
Well, that was odd.
Okay. So are we done with Thursday?
Yeah.
We went to bed eventually.
Friday.
We sat in fun chairs and laughed a lot because that's what we do.
Oh my God. The back of my head cramped up. I was laughing so hard.
We laughed a lot, as we do. I don't even remember what it was about, but I remember one thing, but that doesn't have context. So anyway, so Thursday.
Inflation's a bitch.
So there's is quali plus it's quali practice plus racing. So condensed schedule kind of messed a whole lot of people up.
Yep. So we started off with Dean in the car first. He's never been there.
That's not true. That's not true.
What?
I started.
Sure.
I started.
Fine. Okay.
Drivers meeting.
Drivers
there was
meeting.
a driver's meeting. It was like half an hour. They packed everyone into this basement room that was very stuffy.
I was like in that heat. Yikes.
I think it was air conditioning.
With that many people in this room, it didn't work enough. And
okay.
It was kind of a lengthy driver's meeting. Missed a couple of things that I think are critical. But anyway, yep. So then then Chrissy goes out. Chrissy, how was your first?
I was really so glad to go out. So Chris and I had been to VIR. We think it's 2019, maybe 18. We were there for a HPDE weekend. So we've been there a while ago. We did some on the sim. So we know a little bit about the track, but I realized as soon as I got to the track that I don't know exactly which way the track was going. So there was a whole section of the track early on in the track, 2, 3, 4, 5, that I was like, oh, that's where the track goes. So really happy to have some practice time. And clear practice time because I went out first thing and there weren't too many people out there. So that was good. Yeah. So this is just like, it's starting to get hot. So, I was saying it's probably about 90 to 93 or 4 all day. Minimal clouds, especially Friday. There were some clouds that came in on Saturday. Minimal breeze both days, depending on the time of day. So, plus 85, 90% humidity. It wasn't raining, but it was just as, just sweltering. So we're all excited to get into race suits while we're it's that warm. So so my scent was fine. I think Dean got in. He was fine. So when we have a window net, that's also one of the differences of us being in this race series is they require a window net that has a nice little latch. So the only part that you can get out your hand is about 5 or 6 inches, if that, from the window net to the front of the car from your A-pillar. So if you're trying to do a point by, it's kind of hard because you can't really stick your hand out there. And so when you go up to we think in the first person that's out, because Tim had this situation, same as I did, they may have checked your bracelet or your wrist of some sort. They did not do a full check. And I guess
they didn't do a Dale like freedom fondle where he's going
full check. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. So they did not do that anytime. They basically all. That's the question that they ask you every time that you leave the pits. So yes, so we put our arm out the window and said, "Hey, we have a wristband. That's good." Then I got out. So we did 20 minutes maybe. So just a couple laps.
Yep. You and Dean each did 20. Well, we only had an hour and a half, and we all wanted to see the track a little bit, and we each put some kind of lap down so they can class us. We knew we were going to be in C class, but whatever.
Right.
So they're done. Okay, fine. I hop in the car, go to get out. And they said, well, where's your wristband? I said, well, I've got this one that they gave me. He said, no, you need a purple one. What purple one? Where do I get that? You got to go back. Okay, fine. Stop telling me I need to do it. Let me get out of the way so I can go do it. So I was none too pleased because no one ever said, oh, what do you need to get on track? You need a purple wristband. You need a Tech Pass sticker on your car. You need, those things that
you should get
nice
this envelope,
right?
This envelope has a whole lot of stuff. This very beautifully labeled envelope, not even just like the crappy ones that Lemon give you. It has a whole logo on it. It has all these papers in it. And it has all these.
So we don't want to hear it next time we're doing a meeting and saying all of us, you need 3 things to get on track.
Yes.
You need a sticker.
That would have been nice.
Yeah.
Right.
That would have been great
to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. In that
Yes.
stuffy meeting where they're going on and on about all kinds of other stuff that doesn't really matter. And if they don't cover the fact that you need a purple wristband. Where do you get the purple wristband? Well, you're supposed to get it over when you check the car. How do I know that? I don't know. When I said, am I done? They said, yeah, you're good.
And didn't you say to multiple people, like,
And I
I'm
had
new
said,
here?
I said, this is the first race. Oh, it's great to have you with us. Great. So no, they said, you're good. So I didn't do anything else. I said, we said, we're not, this is our first race. We don't know what we're doing. Obviously the car has no stickers on it and put a number plate on it. We don't have any of this stuff. Don't know what we're doing. Didn't tell me, go get your wristbands.
And this is also killing all of our very short amount of time that we are supposed to be out on track.
Yes.
I have a purple Fitbit, which is what I'm wondering if they just happened to see that I have purple Fitbit. I'm not sure what they saw in Dean, if they even looked, but the fact that when I went out, I had something on my wrist that made it look like they were, yes. That's the only thing I can think of.
It's close enough.
So I got out for 3 laps.
Yeah, right.
Total. And then Tim got out. And also my cool shirt didn't work. It popped off. So, no, actually, no, it didn't pop off that side. That's foreshadowing. It popped
Did
off
it
later.
work off? It worked the
It
first
worked,
time?
yeah. Because we were testing it the first time. Also, it's so hot. I didn't want to be in the car for 20 minutes without it. So we all had our cool shirts.
We
Oh, and
tried
also
to-
they didn't have the transponder number that I put in their system earlier. So we had to give them that too.
That was
So
part of
anyway,
it.
yeah. Tim, what do you think of your first
that-
couple laps around VIR and testing?
So then I got to go in abrupt fashion to test my cool shirt, which failed miserably, and go around a very, very fast racetrack that I had never been on and did not have the opportunity to drive a sim rig on, in a car that I'd never driven before. So that was
No problem
I
at
felt
all.
super, super comfortable. Yeah, absolutely comfortable. Just full send, right? So, my cool shirt, and this happened to me in Jersey, and I thought it was a connection, but I turn it on, and it just starts leaking all over my hip. And turns out the connection where it goes from 4 wires down to 1 had sprung a leak. So I was able to fix that and try to get that ready for future runs. But I went out and I was like, man, this track is a lot. Like there's a lot to put together, and it's fast. Like it's a fast track. So, I tried to get behind somebody that slowed down way down on one lap to try to find somebody that would go kind of a comfortable speed and just get behind them and follow them around, do a little lead follow. So that was good. And then it goes quick. I think I only did 4 laps because we were really short on time at that point. And then we go into the pits. You go to the hot pits and you back into your spot. And then they get ready to do a rolling start. So that's what they tell you. We're going to do a rolling start. We're going to do it by class. All right. So we just finished.
Tim started us off
qualifying
in the race because he had
Yeah.
the last of quali. Right. It made
Yeah.
sense. We only have like
Yep.
10 minutes realistically between the two.
So they're like, we're going to line you up by class. And they do qualifying, and like, they don't tell you what class you're in or how to figure out what class you qualified in or which one of the 3 lines you're supposed to get in if you want to be in C.
Right. When do you it's not like somebody's holding up a sign that says all the A cars here. You're just like, I'll just go out last.
So they do. I found it out. They do.
do
but
they?
They're all the way out early. You can't see them because there's like 30 cars ahead of that. right? They're way
when's
up there.
the C happen? Like, how did you know when C was there?
He just went
I
out
was
last.
basically.
I mean, I know.
I went out last, and then parked like at the end of the pit lane and waited until the first row of cars went out, and then I knew that was the A group, and then I went to the opposite lane.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
Deductive reason.
Yeah, good, but at least
totally.
you're thinking about it. So who didn't think about it or who didn't know that is, if this is your second race or something, you're just like, what do I even do?
So you know what they didn't do when I went to get in this, unknown line? They didn't check my wristband. They didn't check my helmet. They didn't check my Hans. They didn't check anything. Like Paul's kid could have got in the car from the hot pit and got on track. And to me, that's terrifying. That's terrifying.
Did we get a sticker at all? Is there any sticker? There was
They
a
had
sticker
on the helmet. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I didn't even look at it because you did my.
But they
check,
always
so
checked us from the passenger side of the car, pretty much, so you couldn't see the stickers.
But they barely checked.
Yes.
Like I could not have a Hans on, and they wouldn't have seen it.
Maybe,
So,
maybe not. Yeah,
I mean, yeah, sure. They didn't look like they were looking much anyway.
It was interesting. So I go out.
Now I have to. I'm sorry. I have to ask. This is unsettling. Are these VIR employees or are they Lucky Dog employees?
Lucky Dog.
Lucky Dog.
They're Lucky Dog shirts they all had on.
Yikes.
Because the VIR people
Now,
were very established. We should talk about that eventually. But yes, these are all.
This is a new track.
It wasn't.
It's a new track to Lucky Dog.
Yeah, but it wasn't like that
that
for you guys. For you guys when you guys ran Laguna, because it wasn't like that when I ran Laguna.
No, not
Like
at all.
They were I got everything checked to get on track. I remember that.
They caught the lack of dash bar in my car in inspection on the West Coast. Like they were tight. They were tight and tidy. I was stunned by this. I was stunned by this.
Yeah, because this doesn't sound Lucky Dog.
No.
Huh.
Mm-mm.
Yikes. Okay.
Yep. So let's keep going. We got a ways to go on this.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm a little upset.
Yeah.
So I get out to do this rolling
Tim,
start.
How's your shift? And there's a bunch of stuff we got to talk about. We got to keep going.
Do rolling start and I was expecting absolute and utter chaos, right? Because there's a bunch of racers out there and this and that. And I was like, I'm going to get as far to the back as I can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was pretty chill. I'll say that, and it's so late, and it took them a long time to get people organized in the lines. We didn't start on time.
Close.
Like the green flag dropped like 10 minutes at least 10 minutes after race start was supposed to be, which was fine for me because I got to do a couple of laps under yellow. But I'm sure there are other people that are
racers
antsy. Yeah, we're upset by that. But I got to see a little bit more and spend some time looking for, where are these flag stands? Like those sort of things that you can't really absorb in the 4 laps that I did trying to figure out where the track goes. But I just, cruised around and got used to the car and got used to the track and had a blast and then turned it over and was absolutely melted because I had no cool shirt. So immediately went over to Mike Burgee, who's the Lemons guy, and said, "Hey, do you have any like silicone or anything?" So he hooked me up with some stuff, and I did a little field expedient repair on my cool shirt, and off I went.
So, what your brief first impressions of both VIR with the whole shift and of the Mazda? This is actually your first time driving the Mazda and your first time driving a front wheel drive race car.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, really predictable, easy, like talks to you. It was fun to be able to like right foot your way out of a little bit of tire squeal. That's a little different. Trail braking was way more important in this car than
track.
some of my rear wheel drive cars.
Goodness.
Yeah. But it was fun. It was easy. It felt like driving a modern production car. It
is still the least tiring race car I've ever driven. It's just, hey, your time's up. What? I'm not even tired. Hey, this is great.
Which is a good segue to this track. This race weekend, we had rules where you could only race for an hour. And we kind of all said, okay, we're usually an hour. We're only get started. But I was happy about it with an hour, especially with the cool suit problems that we all had.
We didn't even do an hour. We did 50 minutes.
Yeah, we were happy with that. It was enough. We started joking. So Dean got in, then I got in, then Chris got in, and then we rotated that order again throughout the day. So as soon as Chris got in, he didn't have a cool suit. We were joking. He was on the radio and saying he wanted to get out, and we were making fun of him. And then we all proceeded to get in and out without cool shirts, and we all just made fun of each other because we all said, "I'm hot."
I don't want to be in the car anymore.
The fumes are making me dizzy.
Yeah.
I'm sweaty.
The cool shirt failed.
Yeah, right.
Uh-huh.
Kind of like that. Yes.
It was bad. Chrissy, you definitely had some visibility problems from the sweat. On your
I
face,
wasn't
even.
telling people that story either.
It's a funny story, though.
It's not. Okay, so I got in after. So Dean did well. Everything was fine with his stint. I think he was happy. I got in. I didn't have my headphones had died, so I'm the only one with old school helmet with that you need to have plug-in headphones, and so I could not talk. I could not listen. I could talk. So I was trying to also source some headphones, just normal crappy headphones. And none of us had them. So I was basically, when I said, okay, I'm going to come in at 110, I waited for the flag to wave at the pit, and I saw them, and that's when I came in. So we had to play the game of using time and flags, which is old school for most people. The gross story is that it was so hot. I can't wear a balaclava much because the seams in it hurt my head with my how tight my helmet is. And so I did not have a balaclava on. This is so gross. My face is so sweaty that sweat is dripping down my face. And I go to blow it out, like, so it doesn't go into my mouth, and it goes all over the inside of my head helmet. And all I can do is laugh and say, "That's so gross."
It's raining inside my helmet.
Basically, this is so gross. But that's just how hot it was. And I had a cool shirt. I think it held the whole time. I didn't have it the second stint because the pump died. That's what Crystal just said. So we didn't have it that. But I was in a cool shirt, and it was pretty cold. So, but that's just, you just couldn't stop sweating. That's just how hot it was. Like in the car, out of the car, when you put your suit on, you're standing there waiting. That's
even in the Nomex suits we all have too. These aren't G-force comforters.
So I told you
that.
I told you that.
That's why I don't complain about that much about button willow. Yeah, okay, it's 105, but
no, this is.
I'm not blowing my own sweat onto my visor.
I'm sorry. I only told Chris that story.
No.
It's a funny story.
You're not the only person that's ever had to do that. That's why I almost always visor up. Yeah, that kind of crap.
Well, no, we have tinted visors. So that's like, I either don't have sunglasses on, or I have a tinted visor. So I had it up every once in a while just to get fresh air if we were under. We didn't even talk about code 35, which you probably need to. Failbird 35. So yes. So the rest of the stint, my stint was fine. My two stints were fine. They were a little slower. It took me a little bit to get up to speed. Struggled with one of the corners that sets up for a really first one on Saturday. Went very well. And then we'll talk about what happened at the end of the race. So yeah, so my stints were fine. It's what my long and short of the answers are going to be.
And I was happy with my stints too. My first one was just getting back up to speed with that track. Second one in the afternoon, I really got to push it a bit and got down into the 220s. So I got to 226, which is pretty good. And I found a new and interesting problem with the Mazda. And that apparently the tuner had never removed the speed limiter. So I was reliably running into the speed limiter at 118 miles an hour down the long straight at VIR. It took me a while to figure out that's what it was. It's like hang on, I'm not at the rev limiter. And then you get a good run, especially get a little bit of a toe, and you definitely hit the speed limiter. Like, that's it. Okay. But that was fun. Learned something new, but the car performed very well. The brakes were a little bit long on Saturday or Friday. The first race day, which is Friday.
That's why it's confusing.
But it was running great. It was turning in well. It was predictable and controllable. All was well. Yeah. So end of the day, we brought the car in, gave it a once over. It needed, it had leaked grease out of the outer axle boots because of that. Clamps weren't quite tight enough. So Tim very nicely cleaned all that up very well.
What a mess.
it needed a right tie rod end that was had a little bit of play. So we had one of those, put that in. And then Dean got working on the replacement cool shirt pump. After we knew it didn't work, I went to try to source another one, found one that would work at Tractor Supply. And Tim went out and got that while we were all driving. So it was fantastic. So
he also had to
I go to Tractor Supply.
I was going to say, you had to go by the 98-cent store for more Gray Claws.
We didn't need any more Gray Claws. And Modelitos.
Modelitos.
We had
guys.
We had so many Modelitos. Anyway, yes.
So I go to Tractor Supply and they're
Also
like, "Do you have an
chickens.
account?" And I was like, I do not have an account. And I was like, "But I'm buying this for somebody else. Let me see if he has an account." So I said, "Here's the number," and I gave him Chris's number. And the lady's like, "No, he doesn't have an account either." I said, "Well, put it in his name in case he needs to return it." And I bought the upgraded warranty on it, figuring that potentially the one that he's got in there, he got from Tractor Supply, and then he can return that, and then for $12 he'll have a spare, right? So the lady's entering his information, and so Christ Abbott now has an account with Tractor. There you go.
It's amazing what that water pump can do now. It's fantastic.
Water pump turns water into wine.
Which is why you didn't need Gray Claws, because you had wine. There it is.
Right.
Miracles.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about Code 35, and then Tim, you can say what
35.
started your Saturday. So Code 35 is something they do at VIR. Apparently, it's not a Lucky Dog thing. It's a VIR thing. Is they don't
only VIR only?
Apparently.
But I know what you're talking about, Chrissy. Yeah.
So,
okay.
Well, fine. They don't do it everywhere, but this is something they do here. So it is VIR doesn't do hot pulls if a car's broken. So if something's broken and they got to do something with it, they put out double yellows, and then they put out a purple flag with a number 35 on it. And this is supposed to act like a virtual safety car. And everyone goes 35 miles an hour around the track, neutralizes the race, and that's that. So, okay, it was actually really easy for us because the car still has cruise control. So we would turn the cruise control on, set it at 38, and just leave it in fifth and just drive around the track. It worked great. A lot of other people were not nearly as good at their speed discipline as the cruise control on the Mazda. But you drive around for a while, and sometimes it would be several laps that you just be driving around VIR at 35 miles an hour, which after you're going 120 feels rather slow. And then when they were done, they would pull into 35 and leaving the double yellows. And sometimes the double yellows would stay out for about 3 seconds. And sometimes they'd stay out for about 12 seconds before they would go back full green. So this is what they would do for anything of any significance. But fortunately, there was only 68 cars or something like that out in general. And
at most.
You had lots of room, lots of space actually to drive, but it wasn't like an AER 30 car field where it's like a track day. This was, you had people around, you had to navigate some traffic, you could find people to race. It was actually a lovely number of cars to have. You were not in traffic, you could race, but it was kind of the best of both worlds.
If somebody came up quick, you could easily get them by, but you could still keep your line. I mean, every once in a while, somebody would slow up your line, and then then they would blast away, and you'd be like, "Look, you've never driven a momentum car." But yeah, Code 35, and they also had lunch hour. Did they have it on Sunday or Sunday? Saturday.
Oh, yeah. Saturday. They did.
They did. I was out there for that.
I'm pretty sure you knew that you would. Yeah. So they have lunch hour that they deliver lunch, and it was only one guy delivering lunches to all the places, which is lovely. Very leisurely, just awesome. You're like,
came out, took their order, showed them.
They pretty much, they would just hang over the edge and say, "Hi, Jane. How are you? Are you feeling okay?" You have 35 minutes to just. I was just bitching. I'm like, really? You just can't bring a cooler and you can't just like put a whole lot of ice in it? I understand there's times you just might need to go to the restroom. Then just take 5 minutes and do that. Like, you can't eat while you're standing there for 8 hours? rant over. Okay. Anyway,
It's dumb. It's really dumb.
We
So
have
dumb.
we have just discovered the one thing Chrissy will never be allowed to organize, and that is lunches for corner workers.
No, if she will, it'll go very
I'll
well.
do it at
It'll go
9
much more quickly.
9 a.m. and I'm
Yeah.
going to give you a cooler with mega ice in it. And then you're going to just have it all day and you don't have to wait and just inconvenience my race time. Ugh.
Yep.
Okay. So it was so hot all day. And then it rained.
Oof.
And
And
then
in the South, that never makes it better.
it was fine.
We
We
just
sat
stood in the rain.
We sat in
Yeah.
chairs in our clothes and just enjoyed the rain. There's picture. I think Chris took a picture of Tim eating a big bowl of ice cream in his clothes in the rain. And it's like, and at some point it was like a little bit more than just a sprinkle of rain. But it was great.
It was
Eventually-
heavenly.
Eventually we got a shower and Tim and Dean went home to the, so the other thing we didn't talk about is that we pit shared with Darren. Darren has a full team down there that he races with down in the South. So we pit with them. So they brought all of the Gatorade and drinks, which really cut down on us. We brought dinner. We did breakfast. Everybody eats breakfast when we race with them, which is weird.
So
So
they're not all hungover in the morning.
pretty much, they're like actual people they're humans that like to race and eat meals and stuff.
I don't know what Darren looks like not hungover in the morning. I don't think
I
I've
don't
ever
think he
seen that at the
was.
track. That's
Well,
wild.
Nope. Nope. Yeah. So it was really nice. So we were pit sharing so that we both were able to clean up really quickly. There was a slushy machine. So there was slushies going most of the day. Yeah, I think that was Saturday. It was low key. I think we were all just so hot and tired that we just
was
couldn't do
Friday,
it.
yeah.
It's funny. Sorry, I did it again. Cheese Bolt came by. Hi, Cheese Bolt. Hi, friends. They came over and they said, we came over at midnight and you were all in bed. I mean, 10:30 and you were in bed. And we were like, yeah.
Accurate.
Yeah.
So hot.
We were so hot. It was just
Yeah.
tiring. So, so
Melted.
Friday night, we were pretty anticlimactic. Saturday,
A power pole, so we had AC in the trailer, so that was lovely.
it was better.
And Dean and I had it. We shared a hotel, so we went back and took nice cold showers and had a couple drinks in the room before we
I
immediately
thought you
fell
didn't even
asleep.
finish your little beer.
I didn't. A little tiny guy. I was like, oh, so
Oh, yeah. Too much.
You started us off. How was that first stint?
all right. Well, this the rolling start on Saturday, day 2, was way different than day 1. They were single file on Friday, and they were double file on Saturday, and they were a little more organized in getting the flag dropped and bunching the field up. Also late though, it was like 10 minutes late because it just takes them forever to get everybody staged ABC for whatever reason. So I was like, oh, here we go, like going first, and got this chaos start, and we're only going 50 minutes, and I'm losing 10 minutes before we even drop the flag, which didn't really matter at that point because everybody went hella crazy, insane, racy, and immediately people started crashing into each other and going off the track. And I spent
happened
the
both
entire
days.
time of, way more day 2 though. I think I got 3 laps in at pace for my stint on Saturday morning because it was all code 35 right up until Darren's transmission exploded and caught on fire and oiled down the track, and then they red flagged the race. So that was I got in and I said, that is the ultimate casual racing with friends stint I have ever seen, because we just drove around at 35 miles an hour the whole time.
And
We didn't need to fuel after Tim's stint at all.
Nope.
We were
we
planning
fueled
that.
before me. So yeah, Darren got in and then I went. No, he did after me.
After you. Yeah,
Right, because I
we
almost
did.
ran it out of
Dean-
gas.
Dean
You
got
and-
in, and then you got in.
Tim,
Right.
Dean, and Chrissy all drove, and then we put in 15 and a half gallons into the
Yes,
car.
we
but
did in a kind
it's,
of in a gas station that's only takes that. So yes, it was
We
it was
used all the
sputtering.
gas.
Yes,
But
did.
we were alternating. We would do a fuel stop and then a driver stop and then a fuel stop and then driver stop, because they'd make you take 5 minutes for the fuel stop, which was fine in that you could actually, like, you weren't rushing. You just took your time, did that. I'd say we spilled less. Other people definitely did not. They were just spilling so much gas.
Must move quickly.
No, even then they were just like, "Oh, it's pouring out. I should just keep pouring it."
Well,
like, I don't understand.
We have that problem, and you are very good at not making that happen. So, and sometimes
I don't like getting spurted with gas.
Also, there's not kitty litter everywhere when they have that there, because it's everybody's paddock spots or pit spots.
Oh, you're supposed to bring your own. We didn't know.
Yeah, we did not know that because that wasn't in the rule books, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Or the driver's meeting.
Right. We'll talk about this.
Right.
Yes. So we didn't have any kitty litter. So we said, really don't do this, because we're going to have to go walk along with our heads held and say, and the epic fail of the neon, Darren's and Drew's neon. That's what Tim posted a picture of. There was a fire that Darren saw through the firewall, jumped out, got it under control, and then it wasn't under control, so they put it out, and all of a sudden he was standing back there, and then it was back on fire.
Yeah. Darren's the one that opened the hood and pointed at the fire for the corner workers to finish putting out after it would lit back
Fire
up.
bad.
Yeah, fix this.
Why are you out of the car? You're not supposed to be out of the car.
Yeah, no, this is he was like fire. So Tim posted the pictures. Check our socials because it's epic. The break is epic.
Transmission exploded. That's awful.
Yes.
I didn't even know.
Half.
Yeah. Wow.
When they took the front splitter off, the amount of metal that was laying on the splitter was remarkable.
Yeah.
I missed it. I think I was in the car when that happened. So yeah, that was craziness. And so then we did our synth. So we went the same order we did before. So Tim, Dean, me, Chris.
Yep, we all improved our times except me.
Yep.
I was about the same. Everyone else picked up a bunch of time, which was great.
Yep.
So we were all doing well. And then
still super hot, more clouds this day, but
cool shirts
but
are
still,
working great though. And what a difference it makes having a cool shirt. And Tim and Dean cleaned out the hotel ice maker of all of its ice and brought it onto the track. So we had icy cool shirts, which was wonderful. I had a great stint, felt good about it.
Tim gets back in.
Yep. For his stint number 2. Yep.
So I get in for the second stint. So we each got another round of 1 hour stints. I get in and I'm having a blast. The car is driving great. I'm going faster. I hit the speed limiter on the car going down the hill like Chris was, feeling really good, enjoying the car, enjoying the track, and call in to the crew, and they're like, all right, last lap, go back around. So I go through turn 11, 12 Oak Tree, and I'm on my in lap, right? So I'm kind of a cool down lap, just chilling out, letting the car cool down a little bit. Come around the corner, red flag. And I sit down in the car, I call Chris, and I say, hey, Chris, we got a red flag. Car's at temp. How do you want me to handle it? Do you want me to let it run for a while so the fan runs? Do you want me to shut it down? I'm concerned about heat soak. And he's like, yeah, just, let it run for 2 or 3 minutes, see what's going on with the red flag. And if looks like it's going to be lengthy, shut the car down. So, okay, cool. So I do that. And I cycle the key every 3 or 4 minutes for like 30 seconds, just so the cool shirt pump fresh water through the through the thing. And then, and by the end of the red flag, it was tepid. So I was just like body temp water going through there. And then the red flag goes away, the double yellow comes out, and I'm like, all right, sweet. And I go and turn the car on and the kill switch on, and I turn the key, and absolutely nothing happens. Zero. Not trying to turn over. No, nothing. And I've got power. The battery light isn't on. So I was like, did I roast the battery with a little bit of pumps that I did? Nothing. Right. So they go to black flag all. So now I'm waving people around. All the cars come in. I'm waiting because I'm sure that the emergency vehicles were taking care of whatever caused the red flag to begin with.
Fire.
So I got to wait. Yeah, which turned out to be a hella bad car fire.
Epic car fire. Barbecue. Yes. Epic.
So they finally come around, and the ambulance guy is kind of next to me, right? And I've got my hands on, and I've got the window net. Now I'm like trying to signal to him, and nothing. So I was like, screw this. I drop the window net down, and I stick my arm out the window, and I'm like waving. And he's like, "Do you need help?" And I was like, "Yeah, I need a tow." Like, I'm tapping on the roof, like, somebody help me. So he's like, "All right, I'll call you a tow truck." So the tow truck comes over a few minutes later, and I'm like, the car just won't even turn over. Like, can you guys give me a bump start or push me or we'll see. I'm like going down the hill, right? So it's not that bad. And they're like, we can't do that. And the one guy goes, the track's cold, man. Give him a push. So we go to try to push start it, and the car won't even push start. So we tried twice, and they're like, all right, we're just going to tow you in. So they tow me in, and we get into the pits, and the team's like, all right, well, let's just try to bump start it again. And so I go to bump start it, and Chris is like, well, did you push the clutch in afterwards? Did you put it in second? Did you do? I was like, yeah, I did all the things. And he's like, get out of the car. Yeah,
you're doing it wrong.
I get out of the car, and Chris gets in, and we're pushing him, and nothing. The car won't fire. And so I was like, see, screw you, man.
I had to try.
The oil gauge is wrong. The oil gauge is wrong, Chris.
It's never the cap.
never the cap.
It's never the
So
cap.
we
I had to
pushed the
experience
car.
the symptoms for myself.
Yeah, okay.
Right. Diagnose
So
it.
we pushed the car back up the hill now to our pit stall. The car is easy to push.
It is so easy to push. We're like, we need a truck. And I was like, screw you guys. I'm just going to push this car.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, okay, we'll try doing that. Yeah. So then we put it in timeout.
Happening. I've got the multimeter out. There's power all the places it's supposed to be. The one thing I can't really check is the starter signal wire because it's under the intake manifold, and I got to get from underneath, and it's super hot, and everything's away. And so I said, all right, well, that's it. We're done.
And yes, he did hit the starter with a hammer, and that didn't work either.
Yep.
Not an MG.
That. It's worked on this car before, actually. In the original starter, when it was starting to go, we got a whole race out of hitting it with a hammer. But
does not recommend, but if it was going to start it. Yep. So yes, we start pulling all of our pits. So Tim and I go down to pull all of our pit stuff because we've now very nicely established ourselves in our pit and not planning on actually leaving anytime soon. So we have not done that. So we have to go all the way, and we're far away, relative, but far away from everything where we're paddocked. So we have to go all the way down, bring the cart with Scooty and back and forth, bring all the shit back to our pits. And then we come back and Chris says, hey, go over to the Mazda. Mazda's running. No problem. It was just hot. It was just saying like,
it was just hot.
I'm hot. I don't want to do this anymore. As soon as Tim turns it off and he's like, oh, okay.
Right. After a good solid 20-minute break, car fired right up like nothing. Like what? What's the problem?
Yeah.
That's it. So yeah, it just got hot.
And you know what? We were hot and we were like, we're good. So yeah.
It let us leave an hour and a half early, which got us home by 11:30, which was amazing instead of the 1 o'clock in the morning we were anticipating. So
yeah, we'll take
great.
It. Yep.
Can you guys hear the chaos that's going on behind me right now?
Not much. No.
Right behind me, there are 3 of our cars parked in the driveway, and all of the alarms are going off in the cars right now.
Oh, that's exciting.
Fun. Is there a bear?
Okay. Maybe. Hope not.
All right. So
in my parking lots, that always means that an F-35 just took off.
Yeah. No, also not in Maine.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So lots of shout outs to people. So we already gave a shout out to Cheese Bolt. They came in 20th. My Little Neon is the people that we paddocked with. They kept plugging away. They came in 23rd. We were finished in 34th, and Buzz Viking they were in second for a while and then ran themselves out of gas on the very end, within 5 minutes of the end of Friday. But they had a problem, came in on Saturday as we were leaving. So they didn't finish either. They came in 30th. And then we found some listeners, which is awesome. So iRock Racing came over and chatted with us for a long time. They're a great group of guys. We had a cool, really cool pit marshal who noticed who we are, talked to Tim, and then separately talked to Chris and I. He stopped by to say hi, which is awesome. Thank you. And then Kathy, we saw Kathy. We chatted with her for a while. She was so happy. We got to see how much fun we were having on socials, and then she was very gracious that we were there. So, and anybody else, I'm sure I'm missing people, but those are the people that were on the top of my head.
I wanted to give a huge shout out to Mike Burgee for letting me drive the blue Mercure at the end of the day on Saturday, because even though it was hot and not pleasant to be in the race car, I will not pass up a chance to get in a race car. So thank you, Mikey, for doing that. That car is surprisingly fun and fast and predictable. Manual steerings, manual brakes. So it took me a few laps to kind of settle into that. But man, it was fun. And they had the Garmin Catalyst in there. So you could see what the fast lap was. You could see what your lap was. You could see where you are in each corner, in each segment. And it was that got me going. I was
It's a motivational tool.
That, so.
Makes you a little red misty or something like that.
Highly motivational. Yeah. It's not going to be in my car. Not going to do it.
Now with your West Coast teammates. Nope.
No, definitely not with my crew. No, but even for myself, no, I am not disciplined enough to have that kind of information running around in my head while I'm in a race car.
I was supposed to drive that car last year at NCM, and we just couldn't get the schedules to work out. So I'm a little jealous because that thing sounds so good.
Oh, it's cool. You got to get in that car mentally. It was awesome. Yeah. Really fun.
That's well, and Mike's got a lot of years of development in that car. It's so much.
I had
very little left that's original in that car.
Yeah.
I had a couple more thoughts on, and then we'll go into Lucky Dog, but VIR. So we knew that they were going to be nickel and diming us. They did that. So when I lost my headphone usage, I went into the shop and said, okay, can I get some headphones? And they handed me the bag, and they only had one kind. And I was like,
wired earbuds to set the level set.
Okay. I mean, I talked about it earlier. So yes, I have actual just normal headphones. They're just like, they could be just the squishy ones. And she hands them to me, and I was like, I'm sorry, does that say $100? And she was right. And I was like, I'm sorry, I don't need those. And then Tim went out to Tractor Supply and other stores and got me some for $5. And that's what I was expecting, not $100.
Like $5. Oh, I'll pay trackside prices, $20.
Right. Right. Yeah. Right. Okay. So something like that.
Wow. Yikes.
Cool shirt in there. Okay. Again, expecting you're going to pay for a cool shirt. Yes. $300.
No, and we were like $340.
No, that was Chris's guess. It was $307 is what it was.
Okay.
You're right. Either way, it's $300. And we're like, oh, okay, still don't. That's
two cool shirts.
Yeah. We have all bought cars, plural, for less than that.
Yeah. So track prices are just a little asinine at this place. We did get ice. It wasn't too bad. I think it was $20, but it was, yeah. And so that was
nobody checked on the fuel. Like they said, you can only bring in 20 gallons.
Yep.
No one.
People
looked.
were on scooters with no seats didn't care, except for they made up their own rules. So we were all in like tank tops or less because on the first day on Friday, we would jump over the wall. You're allowed to jump over the wall and get people in the car while you don't have gear on, which is nice. I don't know if that's the best, but it was a nice feature because you didn't want to put, it's nice to be able to see what you're doing. And then the next day, you're not allowed to wear tank tops. So then they say...
This is a VIR rule. It was a VIR guy in a VIR shirt saying...
Nope, no tank tops. And I was like, I'm sorry, yesterday I wore tank tops. Or when you get out of your race suit and we didn't have cool shirts, I definitely only had a bra on. I mean, I took it off and I just, kind of tucked my shirt around my top, but just to like get it off my shoulders. So now I'm out of compliance. And before then they were like, no tank tops outside of the fence. And I was like, I got it. Okay, fine. I will go put on a shirt. So then they said, somebody else comes up to me and tells me about it. And then they were like, oh, no, we changed that rule. We decided it's only over the wall that you couldn't have a tank top. Now into the pit, you can have a tank top. This is midday on Sunday or Saturday. You're like, where are you making up these rules? So here's another one. We get there and they don't, apparently our fuel catch pan wasn't tall enough. Chris read the rule books. They said, you're like, well, you can't use that. You need something bigger. Go empty out a pan in your paddock and go bring that down. Fortunately, Chris had an oil pan, but it's things like that. We were just like, where's that rule? Like, why? Were we supposed to know that? Apparently, we're supposed to bring our own kitty litter. Didn't know that. So there were some things that we found out. Fortunately, not really the hard way, but enough that we're like kind of annoyed that we just show up and they're all just like, yeah, you just didn't follow the rules. And we're like, but how was I supposed to know that?
Yeah.
And rant.
I'm feeling like the tank top thing, because you're in the deep South at that. Oh, goodness. She's a vile temptress and taking us all to hell.
Oh, no, I mean, like John.
For dudes, too.
The dudes, too.
Yeah.
Like, so the guys that are pitting next to me, he's the one who told me they're going to yell at you in your tank top. There's other people up and down the paddock, men, women, like men who take their suits off now don't have a top on. Apparently that's a problem.
At all.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Tim, you have a great paragraph on here on Lucky Dog. And I think I agree with this. I don't have anything to add. I think your answer is what are your feelings on Lucky Dog?
Tim.
So my feelings on Lucky Dog are very simply, I like it. Will it replace Lemons for me? No. The field's definitely faster than Lemons, more aggressive passing. There's definitely more dive bombers from some of the cars. The smaller field than a typical Lemon start was nice. They could probably go up by 10 or 15 more and have the same feel. But as far as which I like better, that field size or a full Lemons field size, I don't really know, to be honest with you. I like having a lot of chaos in Lemons, but I also liked, being able to kind of try to figure out the actual racing line a little bit more with this. So that was really cool. I was surprised, like blown away surprised at how lax some of the safety aspects are with the driver inspections, like on track, getting out and like not showing my ID at all. Who are you? Right. Or is your Hans on properly, I guess because
that looks at the cage, things like that.
Is your seat attached? Like things like that. Like what? I've
seen now that I've been, there's only on the other side of the wall with Lemons, just, how many people you catch, myself included, like don't have your strap on your helmet, or you've got a twisted belt or like something like that they'll catch in Lemons. Like they didn't even look at here. And that's especially VIR, which is fast. Like that's scary. Like that's really scary.
Fire system pins. You had 2 car fires. Thank God those 2 cars.
They asked. They didn't look. Yeah. Is your fire bottle pin out? I think so. Okay. Goodbye. Have fun.
Don't die.
They had a raffle with some really cool stuff in it that they use as a fundraiser, which I thought was awesome. I didn't participate simply because I don't walk around with my wallet in my pocket. So
And you,
like
spent $200 on a set of headphones, apparently.
Yeah. So that was really, I think that was awesome. Something like that in Lemons, I think would be cool. And I really like being able absolute pipe dream in Lemons because there's just not enough room for the amount of cars that they have. But it was cool to be able to have your stuff there and hang out there, especially with the 1 hour mandated stints. You weren't having to drag things back and forth and back and forth. So that was good. I did miss the circus that comes with all of the theming of Lemons, though. It just feels a little sterile,
Racy.
and
Too racy.
Yeah. And, it made me realize that in future Lemons races, something that I need to do when I'm theming is to do more laps around the paddock during the race, not just after the race, but during the race. Because you chuckle when you see stuff like that, right? So like entertaining not just the judges and the staff that are at the penalty area, but the other Lemons racers, especially the guys that are out in the back 40 of the paddock, right? Like do something stupid going by them and then they'll get a chuckle out of it and give you a thumbs up. So that's something that is going to be on my list of things to do in a costume or whatever. So that's my hot take on it. Would I do it again? Yes. Will it replace Lemons? No.
I'm with you all there on all those things, Tim. I liked that they tried to be a little kind of laid back and easygoing, but I think they went a little too far on some stuff. And that is unfortunate. I also think they're trying to acquiesce to people instead of setting the tone for people.
Yeah.
Like they set a super dog time of don't go faster than this because they're very astutely trying to control speed creep and trying to control speed differential. Great. That's a wonderful thing. That they set it at 216 after Saturday, there were a good half dozen cars
on Friday.
Thank you. Friday, a half dozen cars that were magically at 216. And then there were
12.
12.
There were 12 cars at 216. That's super dog.
Yeah. And so then the next day those 12 cars were complaining Superdog should be faster. Well, there's already a pretty huge rate of closing speed difference between the cars there. And we were not the slowest car there by far. Absolutely not. But they went and dropped the Superdog time to a 214. And magically a whole bunch of cars suddenly did 214s. So this is, if you're acquiescing to it and lowering the time, you are not controlling the speed. And those cars were not they were going the same speed both days. They were just slowing down before the lap timer in a couple spots to make sure with their predictive lap times. You are not controlling speed creep if you're giving into them by dropping that time. That's going to bother a few teams, and then maybe they just don't do that anymore, and that's okay. That's how you control the speed creep. By giving into them, you're not controlling the speed creep.
Agreed.
Anyway,
totally agree.
Well,
we'd do it again, but
we had lots of laughs as usual. Sweated so much. I drank gallons and gallons of Gatorade. I constantly had bottles of Gatorade, or we used reusable, but it was so much, and we'd never kept up. None of us did.
Friday, I had drank 6 of those big Nalgene bottles. 6. Yep. And like 3:00, I was like, "Oh my god, I have to pee finally!"
When we did that, we celebrated for each other because we were all like, normally when you get in the car, you're like, "Oh, I have to go to the bathroom before I get in the car," and none of us did. You didn't have to do that. We were only going for an hour, but also just because we paid like twice a day, so it was a lot. Okay, that's enough about Lucky Dog. Do we have just the tip?
We do.
Yeah, okay. I think we do.
Okay. Just the tip. Oh my! I decided
fireworks safety, everybody.
Let's tell this story.
So,
if you're setting I hope my mom doesn't listen. She doesn't know this story.
I'm not going to be specific. I'm just going to say,
Mom, it was a great
make sure-
episode. Thanks so much. Hang up.
Bye, Chrissy's mom.
Bye.
Rest of this is just technical stuff. You don't want to hear this.
This is all hypothetical.
Nah,
Should one happen to be setting off fireworks, make sure that they're very securely in a place that they're secure and not going to tip over. That's a great way to do it. Because if they happen to tip over, you never know where they're going to fire, perhaps at people. And perhaps one of them would strike someone you know and care about and don't want to strike with a firework. And that's what I will say about firework safety is be careful with where they're going to go.
Or just go watch a professional. And if professional gets blowed up, it's on their insurance. Just don't do them yourself. Yes, Tim.
If you are going to shoot off a lot of fireworks and you do get like a large piece of PVC and you secure it properly, make sure that the PVC at the bottom has at least a metal sleeve around it, because after you drop 18 or more fireworks down that tube, the tube heats up and will then become flaccid and will also fire in directions other than where you intended to go.
I've heard that happens with a flash.
That's what I've heard.
Never experienced it myself, but yeah.
Thank you.
I think that's a great one.
Thanks, Tim.
Good suggestion.
And now you know.
Okay. Oh, I guess not. You don't do it as good as I do.
I never claimed to.
I know.
Oh.
Okay, this is enough here. What are we talking about next week?
No idea.
I don't know.
Okay, fine. We'll figure it out.
We're not racing again next week, so we'll have to figure something out. We've had a nice string of pre and post race shows for a while here, so we'll figure something else out.
Figure it out.
Okay. Thanks.
Bye, friends.
Bye, everybody.
Nice to see you guys.
Thanks for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers. We also hope you will join us in the world of driving, racing, and building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It's totally free. Then go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. Even if you hated us, give us 5 stars and tell us why. If you have any questions or show ideas, drop us a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. You can still text us at 484-243-0455. Find us on Instagram at everyone.racers, YouTube and Facebook under Everyone Racers, or even Reddit at /E1R. Thanks again, and until next week, keep the shiny side up, unless, like us, there is no shiny side, then just keep those wheels down.